Okay, so good afternoon. Today is August the 30th. Um, this is our monthly BVC meeting, and we currently have all of the BVC members here with us today. We also have Director Reese, Dr. Shane Austin, and Jelani Smith, as well as myself, Lisa Payne.
It's
So,
not it's not the 30th.
oh, it's the 20th. I'm just coming back off of leave, guys. I'm thrown off trying to get caught up mentally and physically. Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Today is August the 20th. Um, we are here for August BVC meeting. So, I did receive a few agenda items this morning um, from Ms. Bowden. So I haven't had a lot of time to review the submitted items, but I'm going to try to work through what was sent with the knowledge that I do have for you today.
Well, I would like to apologize for the lateness. I've been had it done, but I kept forgetting it. So
No,
I'm
it's
sorry about
okay.
that.
I'll take half the credit as well because, like I stated, I've been on leave for about the last 3.5 days, so I wasn't able to send my usual reminder to get those items in. So I'll meet you halfway with that, Miss Bowden. So we're here today. So let's get started. Um, Agenda item number one was any vendor requesting payroll support should come before the BVC and the Promotion and Transfer Committee before a decision is made. So I'm going to respond to this, and if there's any more response from those who are in person, then they can unmute to add to what I have to say. Currently, we are in the process. We've stated that we need to develop specific guidelines behind things, several things, including payroll support. So if it is deemed that that is a part of the steps as far as working through the BVC and the Promotion Transfer Committee before the decision is made, then we will continue to work with the policy committee when we get to that policy to ensure that that language is inserted. As of right now, to my knowledge, I don't think there is a clear process in place, but if I am misspeaking, then Director Reese or Jelani, please correct me on that. But as far as the processes that we are currently putting in place, that we can consider the proper steps of who should be notified when we put that policy together. To my knowledge, as of now, since I have been here in May, we have only issued payroll support to two individuals.
Can I ask? So how do the agency comes to the decision who gets payroll pay and who do not
So
get
I
it?
know we held a meeting with the BVC about a week or so before I went on vacation. It was just Dr. Austin and I that met with you all, and the conversation was centered around payroll support. And we discussed that it pretty much came down to the vendor reaching out for that support. The agency doesn't normally, scout the needs for that. I know we currently have the Grand Prix going on, which is causing some payroll issues with a lot of the vendors that are being affected. So we do have that potentially coming down the scope where some vendors may need support from the agency. But outside of that, we only, as I stated, had two vendors who have reached out for payroll support since I've been here. One you all are already aware of. The second one recently was the Department of Transportation due to adding the coffee carts and the payroll increase. So that vendor reached out. We calculated the math based off of a few months of P&L statements, looking at the consistency of the payroll coming in for those months and the increase. We did the math to find the average and then subtracted the difference, which gave us the amount that we provided the support for.
And who else you said? I'm sorry, go ahead.
From my understanding, I'm on budget and finance, and a couple of vendors reached out and said it was two vendors that received, before I asked, it was two vendors that received payroll support before me. So I will be the third one.
I'm not sure where that information came from. I've been here as of May 4th, and I have only issued the payroll support for the Columbia Plaza opening or reopening, and then just recently the Department of Transportation payroll support for the coffee cart additions. There haven't been any other payroll support since May 2026 that I am aware of. If there was payroll support given prior to that, I am not sure. I will have to research that.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I would like to be on the record that also that the Department of Labor came up. It was a new facility, and I was denied payroll support. I just want that to be a part of the record when we discuss these things about who gets it and who doesn't.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Did we have any other questions? So just to be clear, where do we do, and we will circle back to this with the policy and committee group that several of you all are on. Someone is unmuted. They have a loud background. I cannot.
I hear some disturbance or something.
Okay, thank you. So the request is when we are working on the policy regarding payroll support, the BVC is requesting that we include both the BVC and the promotion committee on those requests, or are you stating either or?
What? I'm sorry. I hear disturbance or something. What did you say?
I'm sorry. So I was asking, is the request that when we develop the policies concerning payroll support and how that will look, is the request that we include the BVC on those requests when they come in, or the promotion and transfer committee?
Somehow I'm misunderstanding here what you're saying.
So
should you come to the BVC? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so the agenda item stated that we should come to the BVC and the promotion and transfer committee before a decision is being made. So I'm asking, are you stating that you all want the policy to state that both groups should be alerted, or do we feel that only one group needs to be alerted?
A grouping should be alerted of it. I think because the BVC is all of us should do, and then I think the promotion and transfer should be alerted also. And I think we should make that decision along with you all on whether a person should get payroll support. Now, for instance, right now, when you're giving Ms. Cole the payroll support, now a lot of us we don't make much money, and we pay our payroll support out of what we get at the vending commission or whatever we could get. Okay. So if we could do that, I think Ms. Cole has how many places? She had facilities. She has about 4 or 5 facilities. Now she has the number 4. Now, I think she should pay any vendor. Now, I'm not just talking about her. Any vendor should take and pay themselves their payroll if they getting vending commission and all of that. Now, let's take a place like number 4. Number 4 is a one-man facility, and there's a vending commission. It's not like if a vendor who doesn't have nothing a vendor maybe who's got a primary and is working that primary and need help with payroll in a new place or something. But here's you all issued payroll to a vendor who really should have had it, because the rest of us are paying our payrolls and stuff ourselves. We don't make much money, so we pay our own payroll. So our issue is that when you have a vendor who's getting in a vending commission from 2, 3 places, making money from the one they have as a satellite, they should pay. They can afford to pay their own. So that's why, because that money, when you give it out for payroll, that money just doesn't belong to one vendor. That money belongs to all of us, every last one of us. So I think we should have a intake of who gets to make the decision, who don't get it. That is all of our money, not the agency and not the vendor that you issues it to. It's the whole 19 of money that's being given out.
Yes, and I agree. And like I stated, I know we had the long meeting about the issue and the specific location and vendor that we expressed. And as expressed, we are developing the policy, and we will notate that the BVC has requested that the BVC and the Promotion and Transfer Committee be included in that process when we put the policy together. And those of you that are on the policy committee will get a chance to hear exactly how we lay out the process and give any opinions on that process when we are there and have that developed for you all.
Okay.
So moving to agenda item number 2, training on Julian date. I'm a little, if you can clarify that for me.
What's on it now?
Julian is I mean, I don't know if I'm aware who Julian is.
Oh, yes, I know the date. But Mr. Innocent can explain that training on the Julian date. Yes.
Well, the Julian dates are the dates that are on our products when we buy them from the cash and carry or those places that sell us goods. Well, they have changed their expiration, the way to read or understand them are different to a lot of us, and we were not aware of them until recent inspections from our monitors that come through and tell us about them during the inspection, but we have no knowledge of them. And I'm thinking that that's it would be fair to us blind vendors that maybe a training isn't what the correct wording for it, but it should have been brought to our attention in advance that these changes were made, and for us to be aware of them and know how to figure out the expiration dates by the codes that are on the boxes or packaging, instead of coming through with an inspection and getting points or getting written up for things that we didn't understand, that the agency or our monitor should have explained. And that's what I was referring to as a training, that basically that it should have been explained to us so that we would know what to look for and not to be caught with lack of knowledge or understanding on it. So I'm thinking that, the agency should have spoken to all the vendors at large in advance, in email or some other method to educate us on the new Julian dates or codes and how to go about, finding out what the expirations are on the products. So that's what that was about.
I think that Mr. Hittis is talking about they no longer putting like 12-2. They're putting some kind of group of numbers. And and actually not saying the date right out. They're doing a group of numbers, and that's the date supposed to be somewhere involved in that. I don't know what it is, but that's what I think is happening here. So there's no regular dates. It's some kind of group of numbers that they're putting on product, and that stands for the date.
So does the numbers, do they differ based on the company as far as, so like what Coca-Cola's expiration dates, their group of numbers, would it be the same? Would it coincide with another company's group of number as far as the expiration dates, or is it per vendor? Because if they all don't follow the same expiration qualifications or meanings, if having one set training may not work. It may be something where it has to be discussed with the different individual purveyors or companies that are providing these, and having an understanding of what their specific codes mean. So maybe if it may be a situation where you reach out to Coca-Cola if they're providing you their drinks, and seeing if they can send over some type of listing that tells you these are the numbers that mean 6 months, these are the numbers that mean 12 months, and things of that nature, because different companies may have different things. And if we give you what we think is something standard and one shoe doesn't fit another, it may cause some confusion where you may still be in the same situation thinking that you have more time with an item that you do. I would suggest starting with the individual vendors that you are using and purchasing your equipment, your supplies through first, to see if they can provide you the details on those expiration codes, and maybe creating some type of log or binder or something that you store these codes where you can refer to this information. And if that doesn't help or become useful, we can see who we can contact to try to get this information. I do know that the Department of Health has agreed to come to the luncheon that we're planning in September, where they will speak on food safety standards. I'm not sure if they have the individual vendor codes and meanings, because that may not be their department. But if so, we can ask them to speak on that. But if not, I would defer back to my first suggestion, which is reaching out to these companies that you're receiving the items from and asking if they have something that they can send you so that you can have that information for your records.
Yeah, it's not vendor specific. Those things are manufacturers. Because I noticed that Everfresh also has a code.
Pardon me, so does Canada Dry.
Right. So does Everfresh and Canada Dry, do their codes kind of mirror each other, or are they completely separate listings of codes?
Yeah,
Because
it is separate unless they own or a parent company or a part of their company. But
yes,
every manufacturer has their own way of making their codes.
yeah. So I would suggest reaching out to the manufacturer to see if they can provide. Maybe they have a standard law sheet where all their codes or expiration dates. I would suggest starting there.
I also wanted to ask, sometimes you can go to Sam's and other places and buy, say for instance, you bought these cupcakes, and there's 12 in a box, and the date is on the box, actually on the box, not on each individual cupcake. Now, what I did do is when I get a situation like that, I just use a pricing gun and put the date on it. Now, is that acceptable? Because then I would keep part of the box and
Yes.
put it in the corner somewhere
I
in case
believe
they walk in.
I believe we
Is
did
that
speak to another vendor about doing something similar when some people don't have the same amount of storage space as other locations, and keeping up with those bulky items and boxes and things that kind of house that information for you. Even in my own house, when I come in from buying my stuff in bulk, I want to save on space. I put things in Ziploc bags or different things like that. And I may save or cut out the part of the item and put it in that Ziploc bag with the item, or keep it just for my records. And I would suggest maybe doing something like that. So if you have a binder, or you keep a Ziploc bag. So if a monitor does come and they want to know, you can refer back and say, here's the original expiration date tied to this item. I do think for for reasons of customer knowledge, having the expiration on the item is also beneficial, so that if they want to inquire or know when something expires, or how what the freshness life is on it, they have an idea. But for monitoring purposes, also having that information in the background, if asked for, you can provide to show, this is where it came from and the expiration date per the box.
yeah? Well, I was
If
thinking that you could,
if I'm
you know, use a pricing gun and put that date on your product, individual cupcake. Now, I
well,
don't keep the whole box. I cut the date off a
Yes,
part
I
of
wouldn't
it.
say keep the whole box. Yes, but if you keep the date, because the only thing is you can use the gun and say, this expires August 31st, but I have nothing to verify that on. So it's really a matter of, not to say that you are an untrustworthy person, but you are asking the Department of Health or the monitors to pretty much go off your word, where that is not a proper monitoring tool. You would need something to physically
I want to say something.
okay.
I think that on the box and on the product they have a barcode, and I think those barcodes coincide with each other. So you'll have different barcodes on different products at the same time. So you'll be able to look at the box that had the date on it, its barcode, and look at the product. And if they're matched, then this product came out of that box.
Yeah, so she said that
That's
some of
if
her
you have the
items
box.
don't have barcodes when she take them out of the box. And
I
if they
thought you
don't,
said they didn't have expiration dates.
okay.
Which one is it?
Miss Bolden, did you say it doesn't have a barcode, or did you say it doesn't have an expiration date?
Ones that don't have an expiration date.
Okay.
The ones
Yeah,
that Mr. Henderson was saying, I think now they come out in numbers or something. But some places, you buy like I was saying, if you buy like 12 donuts or 12 cupcakes in a box, they're not going to put a date on each one of those cupcakes inside the box. They just put it on the outside of the box. I just take a pricing gun and put the date that they expire on each cupcake and keep a piece of the box to show proof that when I bought them and stuff. That's what I'm saying. I say use a pricing gun and put it on each individual item that was in the box.
And I'm saying that wouldn't be proof.
yes, correct. Mr. Stevenson is correct. It's okay if that's a step that you would like to take for your items, but you also need to make sure that you have something verifiable alongside of that. So even if you're not keeping the full box, if you're keeping the part that shows the barcode and the expiration date from that
Yeah.
box somewhere, then that would be
Mhm.
fine.
This is Jerome Walker. I'd like to add that our purveyor list comes from the agency, and the monitors, could come. The monitors need to know as well as us. So it seemed like my particular 3 or 4 vendors, I can go to them, but we have, I don't know, 50, 60 purveyors. So it seems like the agency would be very involved with that, and the monitors would know and then we would know.
Yes. So for example, if we have a list of 60 purveyors, you may not necessarily be using all 60. I would suggest that yes, you need to have this information. If you receive this information from the purveyor, if they provide you the expiration codes for the different things, if you would share that for our records so that we know which purveyors you're using at this location and the information that they are stating, then the monitor can have that information available as well to utilize during their visit. But we won't know exactly which purveyor you use this time for this product to have that information accessible. But if we know, okay, at Mr. Walker's location, these are the 5 purveyors that he uses, and this is the information he's provided us about those purveyors, then we can have that information accessible to do a proper monitoring visit.
Mainly what I was speaking on is, all of us are visually impaired. Some are totally blind and can't see at all. And if our monitors have this knowledge that things have changed, that I'm saying that why can't the monitor express these things to us when they find out about it so that we can get ahead of it, or we can at least be familiar and know what it is that is expected of us? Because if we can't read to see that there are codes now put on the boxes or containers, the monitors should let us know, because that's what I thought, that's what their jobs are. And excuse me, hopefully I'm not expecting too much out of the monitors, but, if we look good, then the monitors look good. So if they explain certain things to us and let us know, this stuff is new, this is what you have to do. You have to Google, you have to put these codes in like I was told, but I'm told in an inspection process, and I could have been told in advance. So when I did have the inspection, that I would have known what to do, and I would have done a better job instead of it being told to me at inspection time. So I'm just saying, for those vendors that don't know, because everybody doesn't, then our monitors should have explained, or the agency should have let us know that things have changed, because we're blind and we may not have known at all. So I just think that the monitor should explain certain things to us, and not just catch us in inspection mode and, kind of throwing the book at us at that time for not knowing.
Okay. So I do as I stated, I do think that for the vendor's sake and behalf, that it would be very beneficial for you all to contact the purveyors that you actually are utilizing and have relationships with in order to gain the necessary information about proper handling and storage of your items. It will be very useful and helpful for the SLA if, once you have that information, if you can share it as well so that the monitors can have access to this information during their site visits. They don't typically carry around 60 different purveyor lists when they are doing the site visit. So, they just won't have that accessible. But if you have access to the information that you can either have on site at your location or share with us to have in advance, then that would be very useful. And I do we still have 4 other items to get through, and we are almost to our 15-minute in. So I do want to try to move along.
Ms. Payne, I have one question. This is Jesse.
Yes.
On some of those items, for instance, like my Prevail, they say when the product come in frozen, it has 21 days of shelf life after you take it out the freezer, but there's no date on it or no code on it. What do you do in a situation like that? Because I would just put the 21-day date on it and put it out. Put it in the
So
refrigerator.
I do suggest when the registration link comes out for the luncheon coming in September, there will be a section to insert any questions that you want answered during the Q&A segment with the panel. We'll have members from GSA, Department of Health, and different people there for these type of questions. So I would suggest holding that exact question where a member of the Department of Health. I did send you all the FDA information. I know it was a lot of pages, but I did send you all the FDA booklet about and included food storage and handling information as well. So if anyone wants to review that information for any specific questions that you may have, I would suggest that manual. It is a lot of pages, but it is a searchable document that may be very helpful. If not, I would defer any questions involving food storage, food handling, dating, etc., to the Department of Health officials that will be at the September the 21st luncheon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So moving on to the third item, we have do an annual food handling class. So as I just stated, we will have the Department of Health at the event in September, who will be there to answer any questions regarding food handling. I'm hoping that all or most of the vendors will be able to be in attendance to receive this information. It won't be recorded, but I believe there can be a lot of useful answers there. And hopefully you all can also share the information with the vendors who won't make it. And then from there, we can discuss annual trainings. I know that when the vendors come into the program, there are specific trainings that you guys take, like Safe Serve. And in Safe Serve training, you do learn about proper storage and food handling as well. That is not an annual course, but yeah, so we can look into what can be done as needed for proper handling. And when new vendors come in, I believe they receive those trainings as well. Moving to number 4, we have replacing agency person on the promotion and transfer committee. I believe this might have been brought up a few BVC meetings ago when you guys asked for the monitor descriptions between the lead monitor and the standard agency program monitors. And we stated that Jelani Smith was acting in Karen, I believe her name was Whittington's role. And he is the agency personnel that is on the promotion and transfer committee. And at this time, we have no plans on removing him from the committee.
I'm sorry. That we didn't mean. We just thought that Delani was going to be taking over Karen Whittington's job, and we are not used to. Karen was never on any committee, so we thought maybe that would happen with Delani, that he would not be able to be included on the promotion and transfer. We'd love to have Delani. You know, it's not that hard, but we asked if he's leaving and he's taking over Karen Whittington's job, why you can't put the financial person, which is Germany, on promotion and transfer. It's promotion and transfer to that, you know. It's because we thought Delani is the lead monitor, and we thought he wouldn't be involved in any of the committees and all of that. He would, you know, that is what that's about. How we would just ask you to replace him with Jeremy, since he's the lead monitor now.
But his role as lead monitor, it doesn't affect him being on the committee. He has the capacity to still be on the committee. So, and yeah, if there's no official incident or anything, we don't have any plans of making any changes to our personnel.
Okay, you all explained it. We just thought that his job description would change a little, and if it did change. But anyway, okay, that's fine.
Thank you. So number 5, recruit more facilities and blind people into the program. So we have been in communication as different opportunities have been provided to us through GSA. I've been trying to do a better job at organizing these opportunities as they come in and keeping the BVC involved. Recently, we did receive an opportunity for the NNSA location. I did receive notification from Jesse that you all decided that you want to move forward with that opportunity. Do plan on sending an email to the BVC, but since we're meeting today, I wanted to see if a member wanted to do a walkthrough of the location before we do a final acceptance. As stated, the location does have about 200, about 150 to 200 employees. It will be accessible 24/7 after business hours. And they are looking to do a small little nano mart or cafe type of a situation. But I wanted someone to physically come with us to do the site visit, to assess the situation, hear the needs and wants of the facility, and make sure that it is something that the vendors would be interested in. So that is one opportunity. We also, there was, I think that was a vending opportunity that we received for like IRS. So we are keeping the BVC included in all opportunities that come our way. Dr. Austin is spearheading, working with us to gather marketing materials so that we can market the program in order to bring in other vendors and opportunities as well.
I would ask, I'm sorry, go ahead, whoever was there.
This is Marquette. I had mentioned earlier about Martin Luther King Library, that it was mentioned to me that, they had reopened and they were wondering why the blind vendors didn't look into doing their facility. And so I brought it to you guys to maybe look at and see if it was, capable of them being put on our portfolio, or however that is done by you guys, to consider Martin Luther King Library.
Well, I think that we think that the agency really need to get on the ball about recruiting other facilities and people, blind people. We used to have like 88 or something like that. And look what it's drilled down to. So, and it hasn't looked like the agency has been recruiting facilities. Some of the old facilities that we used to have, you could find a way, maybe they would reconsider or whatever, get them back. I mean, that's what we want. The agency to get on the ball and to really go out there and look for other facilities, and we have the first right. And as far as the people, we want recruit. How do you recruit more blind people in the program? Our program is really down. We desperately need more facilities and more blind people to come into this program.
Okay, I would like to on that same note,
Sorry, I apologize. Your phone is going in and out. Your connection.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. What happened with the DOES? Because I was told that it was presented to you guys and you guys turned it down. They had a cafe on the corner that's it went out of business, and they was putting a proposal out there for somebody to take over or start a new business in there. And I asked her what happened with us when they presented it to you. She told me you guys refused it or turned it down or something.
Yeah, so I when I started, I asked, was there any type of tracking that showed the different locations that we refused in the past? I don't think previous management had a specific tracking with that. I did start one of my own, so that we can at least go back to say, oh, we refused this location, or yes, we accepted this location. We reached out to the vendors about this location. So moving forward, we are tracking these opportunities when they come. I had a call with Maza earlier. I'm still going through my emails from being out of the office, but somewhere in my email he mentioned that he sent me something about an FBI opportunity that was sent to him that he shared. So that is also something that we have to look into, along with the NNSA location. We also have the we have different solicitations. I think we have sam.gov that hosts the different solicitations that we can try to post bids on as well, that we are trying to start actively tracking those opportunities. So as stated, we are putting together things to work on marketing material to bring in other vendors and or locations. Part of that was also the signage program to put into the buildings, letting people know that there's a Randolph Shepherd blind vendor at this location that may, bring up an interest of, what is this program and what is it about, and things of that nature. So it is
No,
on.
I'm talking. Yeah, I'm speaking on. Well, this about 2 or 3 months ago, though.
I don't recall receiving anything about a DOES location that we turned down.
And I thought you didn't. I just want to present it to you, well, what they told me, because I knew better than that. So now that
Yeah, no,
I'm sure that they never even presented it to you.
yeah, I don't recall there hasn't been any opportunities that we've turned down since I've been here. So I'm not sure about that. So we do have
All
5 minutes
right.
left. If they want to reach out, Troy, please feel free to give them my contact information.
Yeah, it's late now. I mean, they gave it
Okay.
already to somebody else, and they're gonna answer to that. Trust me.
Okay.
Dr. Austin, I'm asking, will you be going around exploring a lot of the buildings that we used to have, and we're not in them now? Because I go around some buildings, the buildings that we used to have, they have other business people in there, and they're not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a Randolph Shepherd facility there, in there. But that's some of those places they got other people in as the ones we used to have, such as the Navy. What is it? The Navy something up there by the Office of Personnel. They put Randolph Shepherd out of there. Now they have other people there. But I'm just saying, a lot of those places that they took from us for some reason or another, I don't know, we should be explored again to get them back into the program. And those people that are coming in here and going into our places, which we by law is supposed to have. So I think that is up to the agency to explore that.
Yeah, so it is something that is on our target, Ms. Bowden. We have a lot of moving things at once that we are actively trying to work on with building the program. So it isn't something that we aren't interested in as well, but it is something that we just are getting in order, getting the proper materials to advertise the program.
This is Chelsea. May I ask a question? You mentioned that you guys were going to do a walkthrough with the location that was offered to us. When are you guys doing that walkthrough?
Right. So this is my first day back. I was going to send an email to the group to ask if you all can provide who would like to be the person to do the walkthrough. And if once that person identified, if you can provide a few dates and times. GSA is just waiting for us. We requested the walkthrough. And I told them that we would contact the vendors to figure out who and what date and times they were available. And we will follow back up with them to provide that information to see which date works best for them. So if you all want to let me know who is available for that walkthrough, and if that person can provide me an email of their availability within the next 2 to 3 weeks so that I can send that over and lock in a date with them.
Okay.
The last discussion item was discussion about third-party vendors. I know we had the meeting yesterday about the third-party vendors commission rates. I'm not sure with this specific agenda
Well,
item that's referencing the same thing or not.
well, no, we don't. I don't want to go over what we had discussed in the meeting and stuff. But in all due respect, really, we felt that Mr. Reeves almost at one point was on the third party side, not ours. And we figured like the agency should be on our side. That's what we wanted to say. At one point, we really, I know I did, thought that Mr. Reese was on the side of the third vendor.
I can't speak for Director Reese, but I believe what he was intending to do was to provide a full scope of the background of the situation and where the error happened and why. The honesty behind the situation was that there was a document attached that caused misunderstanding for the third party vendors.
Yes.
The third party vendors acted based off of their legal requirement of the document that they read. And Director Reese was simply stating that the vendors did not do anything outside of what they were legally required to do and what was in their right to do. But then circling back to say, if you were able to do this for a period of time, why aren't you still able to do that? Because it's kind of like a two things can be true at one time type of a situation. The third party vendors were in their right legally based off what the federal regulations require to make sure that they are paying at least the required commission rate. And as far as the balance between the third party vendors and the vendors, you guys as vendors and business owners kind of understand how when one side goes up, the other side, kind of goes down. And he was trying to explain to the vendors that we are asking the third party vendors to do something that they are not contracted to do for us. All we have to really fight against with them is the fact that you've done this before and you were doing it and you were capable of doing it. Why can't you do it anymore? We don't really have the right to force them to do anything past what they are regulated to do. And he was simply just kind of stating both sides of where we are. And the actual fact is when the third party vendors are giving out more, they are making less, right? So they have to be able to look at their numbers to say, where do we fall in here? What wiggle room do we have to give more, but to still make a profit because they're in the business to make money as well. So I think he was just attempting to make both sides very clear of what the playing field is here. And that's just how I perceive the.
Where could I
May I
find?
make a comment? May I make a comment, please? This is Jesse. Okay, I mentioned a contract. Is there any way we can have a contract when we bring the vendors, the third parties in? Is that possible?
Because right now you guys will have a licensing agreement or something with them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I was wondering if a contract that if things are not going right, we could always, at the end of that contract, switch to another service person.
But the only thing about that legally, right? If you put in there, if things aren't going right, and you have to define like what are the things that aren't right that would make this contract void, and saying that there was a change in commission, but they didn't go against what they are legally regulated to do, that's where things legally will get a little sticky, right? You want to avoid a contract that you've made with somebody for legally doing what they are obliged to do. So can a contract be given? I'm not sure. I will have to look into that. But I just also want to be clear that if you develop a contract
Thursday, August 20th, 4:02 p.m.
something like this specific situation, I'm not sure if that'll void the contract because the third party vendors have not gone against what they are legally
4:03 p.m. Status bar item.
do, which is meet the
Okay,
minimum.
guys.
Select
Okay,
charge
is there,
$0. Charge
I would like to
$0.
know,
Confirm
hello?
$0. Button.
Someone has
Somebody,
their voice.
Please.
yeah, I would like to know where, or can we be given, what you're saying they legally contracted to do by regulation,
Yes,
and
I
where
will send
that's
an
written at.
email out.
And
I
where
will send an email out with the actual DC regulations. I'll download the attachment from the website, and I'll also provide the link to the DC regulations that gives that specific detail of the different rates, whether it's a soda or food, or it breaks that all down on the DC regulation site because I actually looked at it prior to the start of the meeting. So that
no,
is under DC. I'm sorry.
no, no, I meant, not DC, I mean federal regulation.
The DC regulation is what it's going off of. DC
Oh, I
regulation
don't,
state. Let me just it is under.
I thought the Randolph Shepherd program and all these things was federally regulated, and DC have to go off of that.
So there's like a order of there's federal trumps district and district regulations trumps policies and procedures. The district regulation states the limits for the commission rates.
So there is nothing written where the federal regulations mention it at all. Is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry, Mr. Henderson. I was searching.
Stevenson.
Hey, Stevenson. I'm sorry. Because it's Stevenson. I was searching for the download. Someone is. Oh, I think that's
I can't hear
Jelani.
you,
I think it's Jelani's.
Mr. Reese.
I think Jelani and Andy.
Just saying, I was answering his question. He can look at 34 CFR 395.8, and it does not reference commission rates that are paid to individual vendors. That is in the district regulations. It does, however, provide limitations on the amount that the federal government is required to pay us. If you thoroughly read the federal regulations, what you will learn is for unassigned vending, which is what we use for the pension payments that we provide to everyone quarterly, we are currently getting 100% of the earnings from those vending machines. If you go and read the federal regulations, what you'll see is that we're only entitled to either 50 or 30%.
Oh, 30%. I read it.
Much more than what the federal regulation provides. The reason for that is that GSA in the federal government and DGS in the district government don't want to have to go through dealing with the vending machines. And so they have said, essentially, you deal with the vending machines and you can keep all the income and you work out how that income is distributed. But what the federal regulation speaks to is how we're supposed to do it. So that's the only reference in the federal regulations is when vending machine income is in direct competition, that the vendor is entitled to that income. And when vending machine income is in a building where it's not in competition, the vendors are entitled to half of that income. We're currently getting all of that income. That's where the federal regs speak to it. The district regs, which the district implements the program, we have our own regulations. They are not inconsistent with the federal regulations. They have established when third-party vendors do vending commissions, these are the minimum rates that they have to pay, and it establishes a commission rate. And I know that we've had this discussion before about, well, it's not fair that those commission percentages never go up. And that was where I think it felt to people like I was on the third-party vendor side, because being someone who's not either a third-party vendor or a Randolph Shepherd vendor, I can look at both sides. One is one of our providers, the other is one of our clients, and I can see to the extent the Randolph Shepherd vendor's commission rate goes up, the third party's commission goes down. They're the ones that have to make the investment of equipment, personnel, merchandise, all of that. So to suggest that somehow their costs have gone down because and that the Randolph Shepherd vendor should be earning more, for me, objectively, I can't wrap my head around it. And that's the reason I push back on this idea that somehow the percentage that the vendors get should keep going up. The reality is what needs to keep going up is the cost of the goods. And that way the percentage ends up being a higher number, but the percentage doesn't change, the number changes. Because if the goods goes up, then the number goes up.
Yeah, I'm on the same page.
Number up too high because we learned this in the only econ class I took and then decided that political science wasn't for me. There's a balancing there. It's elasticity of demand. See, I did learn something. So, and you all should know this. You want to raise your price up to the point that people will pay. And you can raise your price too high so that people buy less of what you're selling, because now the price, you've priced yourself out. If you try to sell a candy bar for $3, people say, oh, I don't need a candy bar. So the vending machine, the third-party vendors have a lot of experience with what that price point is. And they have a fairly slim profit margin.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around the 100% number, because that definitely would, I mean, I can't wrap my head around it because it wouldn't be fair to them at all. I mean, it's two people involved, and I'm not.
The 100% is not, it's referring to 100% of, it's anticipating that rather than us having third-party vendors that are operating these machines, the federal government would have third-party vendors operating the machines. They would get a commission rate from the machines that would be 13% for snacks, 20% for beverages, and of that money that they earned, they would have to pay us 100%.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Building, and you'd have to pay us 50% if there's not a vendor in the building.
Okay, that sounds a little better to me.
Okay. Yeah, because people hear percentage and they think that it's referring to the commission rate.
No, whole thing, yeah.
I had to explain that to people here too.
Gotcha.
May I make a comment, please? This is Jessie. Okay, we do have the third-party vendors, but for those vendors who would like to, what's the chances of those vendors filling their own machines in their own buildings? Because for years, I think I've been in like 7 or 8 buildings where I filled my own machine, and I did quite well with it.
We should discuss this. I think we're over time now, but we should absolutely discuss this, because all I know is that it was done in the past and we stopped doing it, and I don't know any history beyond that. But I do think that it is a very reasonable thing that we should talk about.
I think so too.
And,
but anyone who wants to do it.
Absolutely. If people want to do it, they're able to do it. And then we're able, as we develop the budget, purchase the machines and put them in, then that would be the vendor's responsibility. And that's a very reasonable thing. And I just think we need to have a plan for how we would implement that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
That up. We actually have to put this on our agenda and talk about it and figure out how we move forward with that, because you're correct. The expectation is that it occurs that way. And if people are interested in doing it and able to do it, like I say, I know that you all used to do it and that we stopped doing it. I know nothing more than that. But the reality is, if people are interested, we should explore it and figure out how we can make it happen.
Thank you.
This is Jerome. What Jesse just suggested, I'm sorry, this is Jerome Walker. What Jesse just suggested is very important to the growth of the program for us, because the program has changed. I've been here 9 years now, and the last 26 or 40 facilities that we have brought on have all been for markets. We're not getting the kind of space from GSA to run our regular kind of shops. So we have to look for another way of increasing our income because the business model has changed, and it's not going to go back to those kind of places that we used to have, seemingly, because it's been years since we've gotten the kind of space to do so.
So, Mr. Walker, along with what Jesse stated, I did write down to add this to the agenda item for next month's meeting. But we have already started the discussion in the agency, reviewing the budget to see how we can go about building out our own markets, similar to like micro markets. Having that infrastructure, we've been meeting with other other companies to see who can provide us the needed infrastructure to start building out our own vendor managed markets so that the vendors can start having those opportunities. So the only addition to what we've already been discussing in the background is now looking into purchasing the vending machines for you all to do that portion as well. But we already have started background discussion and looking at the budget to see how the agency can get back to having the vendors operating these markets on their own so that we are not being overtaken by the third party vendors as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you
Great.
guys are
Yes,
on the
that's great.
ball.
Thank you.
You're on the ball.
Thank you.
Okay, apparently I was muted. I'm sorry. So we are 15 minutes over our time. I do thank you all for sticking around a little later to get through everything. And as always, we thank you for your patience as we try to continue to build up our new vendors program. So thank you all for all of your hard work, and we will see you all again at next month's meeting.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I
Have a good
would like. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You have something?
Yes, I would. The committee would like to thank you, Dr. Austin, for explaining.
Oh, I think she already left. I'm sorry, but I will tell her.
Okay, and Ms. Payne, we thank you. The committee thank you very much for having meetings with us. So we just want to put a shout out there to you. Thank you.
No problem. It's my job and it's my pleasure. I appreciate it. And we will continue to work together on the program. And I hope everyone who can make.
And also to Mr. Reese too.
Thank you. I'll share with both of them. They already hopped off because they had another meeting that we're running behind for. But I will make sure that I share the thanks. I think we're all just as thankful as you to kind of be rebuilding this program back to what it should be. So if you all just continue to practice patience with us, there's a lot of things that are moving. It's a very big program with a few people to get it all done. So, things take a little time over here, but we do appreciate your patience and your willingness to work with us. And I hope to see many of you at the upcoming luncheon where I'm really working behind the scenes to get the right people there to make this a great event. So I really hope all who can make it, bring your staff or your family that supports you and bring your questions as well for the different partners that we're going to have there. So you all have a great remainder of your day.
And you do the same.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you.